Hello everyone, my name is Rizwan Ahmed and I have been recently selected for the post of Assistant Director, Grade-1 IEDS Food in the Office of the Development Commissioner, Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Through this UPSC exam, and in this video, I will be talking about what is the procedure to become an assistant director in the Ministry of MSME. So let us begin this video. These are the points on which I will be discussing in this video. What is the job role of an IEDS officer? So IEDS is basically stands for Indian Enterprise Development Services. So this is a purely a new cadre created in 2017 and this is a technical cadre. So basically after clearing this exam, you do not become an IAS officer, rather you become a technical officer. It's similar to the engineering services exam. Many people know about this Indian Engineering Service or ESE Engineering Services exam. It is quite similar to that. Since the stream of food technology is not available currently in the engineering services examination, so these food technocrats are being hired through this UPSC exam and then they consecutively the interview. So what is the job role? I will discuss about this. Also, this is EQ stands for essential qualification. What is the essential or the mandatory qualification for this exam? Then DQ is desired qualification. What additional degree you can have or additional qualification that you can have for this post? And what is the exam pattern? Whether this exam is also similar to the what UPSC conducts naturally, that is pre, mains and then the interview phase, or is it something different from that? That I will discuss in the later stage. And then what are the resources or the material that needs to be followed in order to clear this exam? And I will personally tell you about that, what are the resources that I have used to clear this exam. Also, what was the cutoff in the last 2 years? For example, this exam has been started in the year 2024 for the first time. This was the first batch. Then the second batch 2024-5, this was the second batch in which I have appeared and I have cleared this exam. Now in the 2026, this is just going to be the third batch of this IEDS officers, right? So this is just going to be the third batch, and this year you know already that there are total 7 vacancies that have been advertised. Out of this, 3 vacancies are for the post of AD1, that is Assistant Director Grade 1, and 4 vacancies for AD2, that is Assistant Director Grade 2. So what was the cutoff in 2024 officially by the UPSC? I will tell you that. And what was the expected cutoff in 2025? That I will also share in this video. Now, if you clear this written exam, then comes the interview preparation or the interview stage. So, how can you prepare for the interview stages? And what type of questions do they ask? That I will also discuss in this video. So, firstly, if I talk about this job role of an IEDS officer, see, the advertisement has clearly mentioned about the job role of an IEDS officer. You have to create awareness program. Awareness about what? Awareness about the entrepreneurship opportunities in the country. You have to motivate people to start their own venture. Then second could be the training centers or the training programs where you need to be aware about the various processing equipments that are being used during the food processing, and sometimes it may be required that you give training to the entrepreneurs about a particular machine, a particular type of machine, or a particular processing about any food product. And lastly, you need to give assistance through this MSME in the financial aid or in the skill development, in technology help and in marketing. You need to help the existing MSME as well as the new MSMEs. So these are the job role. You will also oversee the implementation of the various MSME schemes. For this, there's a booklet available on MSME website about the different schemes. So you can read this about different schemes of the MSME in a later stage, because in the recruitment test or the written exam, it is not going to be very beneficial for you. Next, if I talk about the essential qualification, this is the main part. So many of the students are confused that whether they can apply for this post or not. See, the advertisement clearly mentions that BTech in food technology, a student who has done BTech in food technology is eligible for applying to this post. So if you do not have a degree, if you do not have BTech in food technology as mentioned in either your degree or in your mark sheet, so you are not eligible to apply for this exam. Whether you have done BSc in food technology, are you eligible? No. Whether you have done BSc in microbiology, are you eligible? No. If you have done BTech in agriculture and then you have done your masters MTech in food processing, are you eligible? No. If you have done BTech in dairy technology, DT, and then you have done MTech in food technology, are you eligible? No. The mandatory thing is you have done BTech in food technology or food processing. Then only you are eligible, otherwise you are not eligible. Now, there could be another option that if you have done BSc in food technology, then after that you have done PG diploma in fruit technology, then you are eligible. So, a PG diploma in fruit technology is eligible. Here, it does not matter whether you have done your graduation in either BSc or BTech, doesn't matter. But if you after done your BTech or BSc, you have done your PG diploma in food technology, then you are eligible. So this is the criteria to apply for this post. This is the essential qualification that you must have. Now we come to the desired qualification. So the desired qualification is not mandatory as per UPSC, but if you have these desired qualifications, definitely you will get some additional marks in your interview. It may be around 1 to 2 marks extra that you will give in your that you will get in your interview, but it completely depends how your interview goes. So if you have done your masters, your PhD, this is definitely going to give you additional marks if you have prepared them very well before your interview. So what could be the desired qualification? It could be the MTech, whether MTech in food processing engineering or food laws and management, etc. Whether you have done your MSc in food technology, that is also going to be an desired qualification. If you have done PhD or if you have any working experience in food technology background, these are the desired qualifications that might give you few extra marks in your interview. But these are not mandatory that you should get. Even if you have only BTech and with 0 year of experience, you can apply. This post is also eligible for the freshers also. So if you are freshers in this field after BTech food technology, you can definitely apply for this post. Now if I talk about the exam pattern, is there any pre or mains? A big no. There is only a recruitment test. RTS stands for recruitment test. So there is only one exam, that is a recruitment test. So this exam contain 100 questions. These are 100 MCQs. Actually, in 2024, UPSC has asked 120 questions, but in 2025, it has asked only 100 questions. So the chances are there that in 2026, it is again going to ask 100 questions. So these 100 questions, each questions will carry 3 marks. So if you get one correct answer, you will get 3 plus marks. But if you get one wrong answer, you will get -1 marks. So yes, there's a minus marking for this exam. Now, in order to prepare for this recruitment test exam, after you clear this recruitment test exam, then you will be called upon for the interview. But here comes the scrutiny process. If you have applied for this UPSC exam and you do not have that essential qualification, even after clearing this recruitment test exam, the UPSC might going to reject you before the final interview because you do not have that essential qualification. After clearing this recruitment test exam, you will be called upon for the interview, and then after interview, you will get the final selection. Now, if I talk about the syllabus of this recruitment test, what is the syllabus? and what are the resources or the material that you can follow. So here are these things. So firstly, we will talk about the syllabus. There are specifically mentioned these 8 points in the syllabus. You need to prepare about all these 8 points. What are these 8 points? The first one is the current issues of national and international importance, and especially with respect to the social, economic and industrial development. See, this is somewhat similar to the UPSC CSE syllabus. The UPSC CSE syllabus also mentions that current issues of national and international importance, but here, particularly if I talk about this exam, it limits the syllabus to up to social, economic and industrial development. How I particularly prepared this topic was, I have followed YouTube, I have watched the videos of physics wala ESE, and then I have also see its marathon, and also I have also followed the UPSC current affairs, which I follow through the Vision magazine. That is particularly for the UPSC civil services examination. That is going to be a very vast syllabus for you to cover. So you can also follow other ESE material for the current affairs. Now comes to the second point, that is aptitude covering logical reasoning and analytical ability. So this is what very similar in the exams like other competitive exams, government exams, or apart from this, this is also common in the engineering services exam. For this, you can follow any resource material which is available online, or you can also purchase a book for this. I have particularly followed the Gate Academy YouTube channel to cover this topic. Apart from this, I have also prepared for UPSC civil services for the past 4 years. Hence, I have also developed some of the analytical skills through that platform. The third point is the mathematics and the numerical ability, which is also similar in case of GATE exam. So you can prepare this through your engineering services background. You have also studied about the engineering mathematics during your graduation or your post graduation. So that is also have a similar syllabus to this. Now I particularly followed the GATE Academy channel on YouTube in order to prepare for this exam. See, to be very honest, I was not very good in terms of mathematics and numerical ability during the exam. However, out of the 8 to 10 questions that is being asked from every topic, I was able to solve at least 3 to 4 questions. Now, if someone is good in mathematics, I hope that you are going to get a good marks in by attempting these 8 to 10 questions. The fourth point is the basics of energy and environment. Look, if I talk about myself, I have prepared for UPSC civil services examination. So specifically, if I talk about this environment section, I have been benefited by preparing for the UPSC civil services examination. But this section, that is energy, is very new. So this topic of basics of energy and environment, this is one of the topic of the engineering services as well. So you can easily get its note on the Google about the ESA notes on energy and environment. Also, you can watch the Unacademy videos which are available on the YouTube about this topic, energy and environment. The fifth point is basics of project management. So this is one of the new topic. So I have particularly prepared this through the made easy notes which are available on the Google, but that is a very old notes. It is about 2019. It's better to purchase the new materials which are available in the market. The sixth is the basics of material science and engineering. This is also somewhat similar to the material science subject. So for this, I have also purchased this made easy notes available in the market. Also, you can see the YouTube videos on this material science and engineering. It is available of PW channel on YouTube. Now, if I talk about the seventh point, that is ICT, Information and Communication Technology. So this I have also prepared it through the made easy notes and also through the YouTube channel, which is easily available. The last point is the ethics and values in engineering profession. So ethics, I have prepared it through my UPSC journey, but particularly ethics and values in engineering profession, you need to buy a book that is made by the Made Easy. So Made Easy notes cover this entire topic holistically. And also you can watch some YouTube videos available on this topic. So this is the whole syllabus of this recruitment test and the resources or the material which I personally followed or I would recommend. Let's see some more thing about this exam. See, firstly, in the recruitment test carries 75% of the weightage. whereas the interview will carry 25% of the weightage. So you see, this is a total of 400 marks. Out of this, 300 marks is of a recruitment test, whereas 100 marks is for the interview. So you see that there is a lot of weightage in the recruitment test. So you need to prepare for this very strictly and holistically, whereas only 100 marks are there for the interview process. So interview contains only 25% weightage, whereas this recruitment test contains 75% weightage. So you can see its importance from here. Now there are some minimum standard suitability for the interview, and these are the marks. For general and EWS category, you should have at least 50 marks, a minimum of 50 marks and above to it. And for OBC candidates, you should get minimum 45 marks in the written test or the recruitment test. For SC/ST candidate, you should get at least 40 marks and above to this. And for the PWD candidates, whether they belong to the general, EWS, OBC, SC, STs, you should get at least 40 marks. Now comes the most important part, the second most important part. This is called cutoff. So officially the cutoff for the 2024-25 was 70 to 80 for general category. Now if you want to know about the OBCs and SC/ST, reduce at least 3 to 5 marks from it. You will get the marks for the OBC or the SCs, STs, etc. Now for 2025-26 session, the UPSC has not officially mentioned the cutoff, but somewhere it was guessed that the cutoff would be around 110 to 120, especially with respect to the food. Now if you want, you can practice the mock test of engineering services examination, general awareness part. Now how to prepare for this interview? If you are able to clear this recruitment test and you have been called for the interview, generally UPSC called 1:4 for the interview. So if there are 7 seats, a total of 7 seats for AD1 plus AD2. So definitely UPSC is going to call 4 times to it, that is 28 students will be called for the interview. So the competition is very tough. So only the 28 students will be called for this interview. So once you have been called for the interview, you need to prepare for this. How will you prepare for the interview? The first thing that they ask is your introduction, though it is not necessary that they will ask this. Like I have also given the interview in 2024 and 25. That was my first interview. So they did ask me about the introduction. But in the interview of 2025-26, they do not ask me about my introduction. So you need to prepare yourself in such a manner that even if they do not ask you the introduction, you should carry forward the other things smoothly. Now the second point, which is the most important point in this interview session, is your technical portion. Your interview will mostly revolve around the technical portion. The interview is mainly of 10 to 15 minutes only. In very rare case, it could go up to 20 minutes. But most of the candidates, they see that their interview is about 10 to 15 minutes. Like I have also given it for 10 to 20 minutes only, 10 to 15 minutes only. That's it. So what are the different questions that are being going to ask you in your technical portion? The first one comes from your BTech project. If you have done any project in your BTech, you should prepare that topic very clearly. You should keep each and every point in your mind. They could ask you some questions in depth and detail, and they will also ask you follow-up questions from your answers. So you should be ready with that. The second topic could be from your MTech project. The third questions could come from your PhD research work. So these are the areas from which the UPSC generally asks questions from your technical background. If they do wish, they will ask you further questions from your working experience, whatever the areas in which you have worked. For example, I have worked in the dairy industry. So they have asked me questions related to the dairy industry. Someone has worked in the water bottling plant. So they will ask them the questions regarding the water bottling plant. If someone has done work in the bakery industry, they are going to ask the questions from the bakery industry. If you have also done any training during your BTech or your MTech, sometimes they might ask questions from that area also. So you need to prepare yourself in such a way that the questions can come from anywhere and you have to be ready for the answer. And make your words very clear when you are answering a question, because they are going to ask you the follow up questions from your answers. So, whatever words that you use in your answer, you should be aware about those words very clearly and in depth. The fourth part where they can ask the question in the interview is about this MSME. Now, earlier in this video, I have recommended you to read that scheme booklet which is available on MSME website. So, that booklet will now help you in your interview. So you need to read that schemes, whatever the schemes that is being mentioned into that booklet, you need to study them well. Also, some of the questions that could be asked, how will you promote MSME? This was a question that they have asked me. And also, what the government is currently doing for the MSME. Also, if you belong to any state, be prepared with the questions from your state or from your hometown. They may ask you questions with your hometown. What are the agricultural crops grown over there, right? And what are the food processing industries in your region? What are the problems that are they are facing? Also, they will ask you about the MSME of your states. They will ask you about the ODOP, one district, one product of your state, of your district. And also, they could ask about the GI tag, if there is any GI tag product from your district. They will ask you the questions, what are the challenges that the MSMEs are facing. They could also ask you about the challenges, especially with respect to the food processing sector. What are the food processing sector that are facing the challenges? They could also ask you about the SWOT analysis of food processing sector, that is the strength, weakness, opportunity and threat. And lastly, they ask questions based on situations. For example, if you become an IEDS officer and then you are being posted in your own region, how will you solve their problems? What are the biggest two problems of your region, and then how are you going to solve these two problems? They could also ask you other questions. For example, someone is making a food product and there's a problem of foul smelling coming from out of that packaging material. What are the cause of this foul smelling, and also how will you resolve this? What are the different kinds of technical help that you could provide to an MSME, especially with respect to the food processing MSMEs? So these are the different questions based on the situation that they could ask you, right? So when you are preparing for the interview, prepare very well and focus mostly on your technical part, the state where you belong, the hometown that you belong to. Prepare them very well, and I wish you all the very best for the upcoming exams and the interview. And if you feel any confusion or any doubt with respect to this video or with respect to this exam or the interview process, please do ask the questions in the comment section. I will try to respond as many questions as possible. And thank you very much for watching this video. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.